In this video, let's talk about what the hell do you do with all of your stuff? This is something I see holds a lot of people back when you're in a fixed life and you've got an apartment or a home and it's filled with tons of crap. How on earth are you going to full-time travel? So let's first hear from Voyant for her very colored view on what to do about your stuff when you're thinking about traveling full-time.
You cannot even begin to think about this idea of traveling full time. You have too much stuff. Il y a des choses partout in your apartment. These things, they are everywhere. Do you know how long it would take such a long time to even pick up these things? And then what will you do with them? You are going to pay for storage. It's very cher. You do not. Again, we have covered this and you cannot afford it. It is too expensive for you to do this. And do you know how much time it will take to put all your things in the storage? It will be waste of your life. For the rest of your life, you will be putting the things in the boxes. It is just stupid. Do not travel because you will have to deal with your stuff and you do not want to. It's better you avoid dealing with your stuff. And you sit down. Do not travel full time.
All right, so we have that perspective. Now let's hear from Claire on her thoughts about stuff and full-time travel.
So when you're in a job, I talked before about how you have this money and you go buy all this stuff, and it's funny because it's the stuff that keeps you from being able to travel, because now you got to wonder, well, you can't take all this stuff with you, so what the hell are you going to do with it? So, I would say get rid of as much of it as you can, because unless you're just taking a break for a few months or a few weeks, you're probably not going to want or need all that stuff anyway. And so unless you can find a cheap way to store it, maybe you have a friend who's got a giant basement and you can put all your shite in there and they don't charge you any rent. Great, that's just grand, But otherwise, you got to think, well, you got to put it into storage then, and then you're going to pay for that storage. And you got to think there's a possibility you might be gone. You might think you're going for 6 months. And then what if it becomes 2 or 3 years or longer, and then you're traveling so you can't get back to your stuff, and now you're just paying for the stuff like a rent, So if you can, you get rid of as much as you can, and don't have so much stuff in your life. That's the point of the travel, is to unclutter your life. So just get rid of that clutter as much as you can, let it go, so you can enjoy your travels.
Pulling that all together, stuff is definitely one of the biggest holdbacks of being able to travel. As I mentioned, I remember when I thought about traveling full-time, I looked around my apartment because I had bought into that consumerism of, having that box and filling it with lots of stuff from Amazon, and the stuff was actually feeling like it was weighing me down to the point that I just couldn't understand how I would travel. So I did it though. So here are some tips on what to do with your stuff, right? So first of all, you can actually move it. As I've said before, or Claire said, get rid of as much as you can, because when you travel full-time, you want to do it with as little as possible. If you do it like I'm doing, which is independently without a car, you are carrying everything literally on your back or pulling it with your arm. If you are traveling with a car, then obviously you can fit more in there, but you are still going to be weighed down the more stuff that you have. So since you're not going to be traveling with the stuff, if you have, if you're only going for a short period of time, that's one thing. But if you think it could be a year or potentially indefinitely, then you aren't going to be needing or using most of the stuff that's in your home right now. So give some thought to, will you really want that or need that when you come home? And remember that you will be changed. Travel changes you in so many important ways. You may not resonate with a lot of that stuff anymore, and so you might think about going through the things that you have and, you know, categorizing, find a way to uh, look at what's important to you. So is it the things that have sentimental value? Are those absolute keepers? Are there things that you definitely love and want and can't imagine life without? Okay, keep those. But anything that's a question mark, you might think about giving away. Also, the value of things, it's really annoying when you try to sell furniture or TVs or things like that, electronics. They never go for how much you wish they did. So I will tell you though that there are some things that you might not get the money that you want for them, but what you have to weigh out is if you're going to put them in storage, they're going to take up space. And every month that you're paying for that space, it could be that the $50, which is way less than you want for the $600 item, still is a savings of, you know, 2 feet by 4 feet. And that not having that in the storage unit means that you can have a smaller storage unit, and that's cost less. So in fact, it might be $50 in your pocket, but save you hundreds or thousands of dollars out of your pocket. So another big thing to consider. Also, I recommend if you do get a storage unit, speaking from experience, try to stack it, like, you know, look at what's, I guess, keep a list of what you are putting into your boxes, and stack things so that the things that you actually might need the most or also be tempted to get rid of are closer to the entrance of the storage unit, so that when you come back and go through it at some point, that stuff is easily accessible and you can get rid of it or use it as the case may be. Another thing to think about is that when you travel, you actually learn how little stuff you need, and if you go back to a lot of stuff, it could be like really annoying. so so think about the more you can get rid of now, the more you save yourself later. And what if you end up moving to a new country? Well, now you got to ship all that stuff over to that other country, or get rid of it then, you know, just again, just some thoughts to consider. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, drop by my website at www.heatherbegins.com and feel free to drop me a note and ask. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I guess just one thumb. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing, and I will catch you on the next video. See ya.